ARMY shocked. Jimin's unexpected action when welcoming Jungkook and Incheon becomes a spotlight. Flushed face, two hearts that day. Incheon International Airport was filled with camera noise, fans, enthusiastic whispers, and the rush of security staff who seemed ready to handle something bigger than just the arrival of a regular K-pop idol. That morning was supposed to be the day BTS's Jungkook returned from his sudden agenda in Paris, but no one expected that another figure would appear and turn the whole atmosphere into a moment that left ARMY speechless, touched, and shocked at the same time. The moment came from Park Jimin, a figure who has been known to be warm, gentle, and full of surprises. There was no official announcement from HYB. There are no rumors that Jimin is coming. There is no timetable indicating he will be in Incheon. But as the doors of international arrivals slowly opened and the sound of heavy footsteps echoed, the world seemed to stop when the slender silhouette in a black hoodie and white mask appeared. Jimin was there. Jimin, who was undergoing a vacuum period of public activities. Jimin, who for several weeks has rarely been seen, suddenly stood out among the crowd, as if from the beginning it was intended to surprise Jungkook. The moment began with a brief silence, a silence full of shock. The HYB staff who were in the area clearly did not expect his arrival. Even some of them looked confused when they saw Jimin's two personal bodyguards walking behind him. One of the managers who was arranging the exit route for Jungkook looked at Jimin with an expression of disbelief, as if to confirm that it was really him. But Jimin only gave a small nod, as if he knew exactly what he was doing and did not need an explanation. Not long after that, the crowd began to whisper, and the whisper turned into a small echo that spread quickly. "That's Jimin. Jimin is coming. Jimin's here." The voices of fans who were accidentally on site began to rise. Phones were recorded, cameras were pointed, and in a matter of seconds, the virtual world was filled with questions. Why is Jimin in Incheon? Some soldiers who recognized his steps immediately shed tears, because even though Jimin's face was covered by a mask, the look in his eyes very clearly described longing and sincerity. He didn't come to perform, not on the official agenda, except for something much more personal, and that's what makes this moment a big highlight. Silence broke as the sound of another step came from behind the arrival door. Jungkook showed up with a black suitcase, a thick winter jacket, a beanie hat, and slightly messy hair after a long flight. He walked with a small smile to the waiting fans, although his face looked exhausted. But when his eyes pointed slightly forward and saw the figure of a man standing upright waiting for him, his steps simply stopped. Jungkook was transfixed. Everyone who was nearby could see that change in expression clearly. His smile faded with surprise, then quickly turned into a newness that was hard to hide. His hand grasping the strap of his bag weakened, and he even had time to hold his breath. "Hyun," he said softly, clearly heard in a video that went viral on X and TikTok. Jimin did not immediately wave his hand or approach Jungkook, as is usually the case in emotionally charged situations. What he did was even more surprising. He walked slowly, looked down politely at the staff and the camera, and stopped right in front of Jungkook. In a very gentle slow motion, Jimin took off his mask, revealing the warm smile that ARMY had longed for. Meanwhile, Jungkook, who did not expect to see the face so close after so many days abroad, looked speechless. But Jimin didn't just smile, he did something much more unexpected. Spontaneously and regardless of the camera, Jimin raised his hands and cupped Jungkook's face. The gesture was quick but gentle, full of intimacy typical of close relatives who have already gone through a lot together. The staff standing next to them even looked surprised because the action was beyond the limits of public expectations. Jungkook froze. His eyes widened. Then in an instant, he smiled, a smile that only ever appears in the most personal and sincere moments. A smile that only appears when he feels completely safe, completely cared for, and completely understood by the person in front of him. "Have you eaten?" Jimin asked slowly. A simple question, yet one that contains deep warmth, a question only asked by someone who truly thinks of others. Jungkook didn't answer. He just lowered his head and laughed a little, as if trying to hide the sudden surge of emotion in his chest. Then, not caring that the airport was crowded, Jungkook pulled Jimin into a brief embrace. The fans immediately shouted softly, holding back emotions, but the two seemed to really enter their own world. The surprise did not stop there. Jimin took over Jungkook's suitcase, something an idol would never do to another member in such a public place. Jungkook tried to stop him, but Jimin patted Jungkook's hand and said, "You must be tired." "I got it." The camera captured the moment, fans captured the moment, and the internet exploded in a matter of minutes. But what makes this moment really stand out is the fact that Jimin didn't come just to say hello or give a little surprise. He came up with a real plan. He waited for Jungkook in a staffed area, ensured a safe passage for him, made sure he could walk comfortably without being mobbed, and had even prepared an extra thick coat that he carried in his arms. As they walked towards the exit, Jimin draped the coat over Jungkook's shoulder in a natural gesture as if it had been their habit for a long time. Many people said that it was Jimin's most unexpected action. But for ARMY, who have followed the dynamic of the two for years, they know that Jimin often does things without announcing them. He is not the type of idol who likes to show off his attention, but he is always present when someone he cares about needs his presence, even if in silence, even if without a plan. Rumors then spread in the Korean media that Jimin actually arrived early and waited in a closed area for more than 2 hours just to make sure he didn't disrupt Jungkook's security schedule. He was even said to have turned down the VIP area in order to welcome Jungkook directly to the public track, where fans could watch the moment. This attitude made many reporters present surprised, because it is very rare for a BTS member to take a step like this spontaneously. Some photographers said that Jimin looked agitated before Jungkook arrived. He paced a little, took a few deep breaths, and occasionally checked the clock on his wrist. Those little gestures reveal how much he wants to make sure the welcoming moment goes his way. There was even a moment when he stood in front of the arrival monitor, looking at the screen like someone waiting for the most precious person to come home from a long trip. When their group finally went out to the private parking area, Jimin held Jungkook's hand and spoke quietly. No one knew what he was saying, but the look in both of them's eyes indicated an emotional conversation that didn't require a voice to be understood. The reporters tried to ask Jimin, but he just smiled, lowered his head politely, and replied in a low voice, "I just want to make sure he comes back well. That's all." But his voice said more than his words, and that's what makes the world even more curious. Throughout that day, social media was filled with footage, photos, and analysis of their every move. Many were moved to see how their relationship remained so strong despite their schedules, distance, and ongoing military activities. Many also said that this was one of BTS's hottest moments this year. But the biggest highlight remains one thing: Jimin cupping Jungkook's face. A simple but meaningful action. An action that shows closeness, warmth, care, and affection that cannot be hidden even in the most crowded places. In a short interview after the event, a HYB staffer said that Jimin came without a plan from the company. He came as himself. As Jimin cares. As Jimin who always knows when someone he cares about needs greater support than usual.